Hello, let's paint this beautiful garden scene using one brush and our primary colors. And I want you just to enjoy it and to relax into it. It's not going to take us very long. We're not going to be overwhelmed by the trees. Let's get started. I'm going to use a pencil for this. We're going to settle our brain, settle our heads by doing a little gesture drawing of it. So the first thing we're going to look at is just where the tree lines hit into the sky. Then we're going to look at our focus point. Our focus point is obviously the center beautiful rug where any of us can just dream about sitting and enjoying the garden. Okay, I've got my canvas here, which is just a little bit bigger than an A4 size. I'll put this back so you can see me do the gesture. So we're going to start from the top, and gesture drawing just means an impression of it. So we're going to come up and down, then we're up again there. A little bit more, comes down over to this side, and then you can see where it cuts in the different trees. So that's our very top line here. Then we're coming to this focal point. We're not going to take in all of the grass at the bottom. That's why I've cut that off there for us. So we're going to have our lovely bench, which has, so if we come down from the center line there, then we're going to come in, do our little bench like so. Then we have a little seat either side. You can gesture where those are. You can see I'm just letting this piece of charcoal roll through my fingers. Excuse me. Just behind it, that's where the path finishes. So I'm going to indicate that because that's where our trees will be. And then I'm going to cut that off at the bottom. So we have a top and a bottom that we can work with. Let's start with the sky because the sky is so beautiful and bright and we can already imagine what it's like. So the paints that we have are ultramarine blue, a little bit of black, a little bit of white, cadmium yellow and cadmium red. And I have just one brush and it's a flathead brush. And I've got little water cups. And you'll see I like to use party plates for my palette because I paint so often. So the blue that we have, we're going to make a version of that blue. So we're going to take some blue onto our plate. Clean your brush. You can have a little bit of kitchen roll beside you if you need. So we've got our blue. Clean the brush. Then we're going to add the tiniest bit of yellow. Mine's dried already. Just a little touch of yellow. And that's going to just take the stark blue off that, just takes the edge off it. Roll the paint off, clean your brush. Then take you can clean your brush fully on your little piece of kitchen roll or towel. Take a big chunk of white and we're going to mix into that. So you'll see the way I was a photographer when I was building my creative career at the start. And I'll just mix this while you see it. And so often the way it happens, because this is a photograph we're working from, you will see that the edges of each one can be a little bit blurred or a different shade, different color. But with that, we're going to make the top a little bit darker and bring it lighter as we come here down towards the bottom of the trees. So this is going to be our first color. Clean our brush again. And then we're going to take some white. And we're going to mix a second version. Just pull the paint into it rather than make a new one. Pull the paint in and then we keep the same harmony with all of this. Okay, while that's on our brush, let's go from these bottom leaves. So you want to just come down and meet the line where you are. We have got a very strong line here, but you will see that the blue comes the whole way in. So if you want, you can bring the blue in a little bit so that it doesn't feel as overwhelming when we get to put the green on there. So you can bring it in. You can always paint over the top one. And there we're going to come along with this same light blue to about here. So it goes the whole way across. Take some water on your brush that will move your paint. Then we're going to take that stronger blue, going to start from the top and we're going to bring it down. So same again, let it come in so it starts to take the shape of the trees immediately like that. So keep revisiting and keep looking at the subject. So we still have that strong blue coming down. And once it gets to the point where it's meeting your other one, add some water to your brush and just gently blend the two together. I'm going over that line over there, but that's okay. It keeps it all nice and smooth. And if you want to make it any stronger than that, you can. Otherwise, we're just going to leave it there. And that is the easiest part of this painting. But we want to just take a little bit of this blue and bring it down because even though this furniture is actually white, because it's such a bright day, and the same with seascapes, the sea will always reflect in, the sky will reflect into the sea. So let yourself bring down, the mat is also a little bit blue, but we're going to just start to put in, take some water in your brush, go for the lighter blue. I'm just adding in a little bit extra of it. And I'm going to fill out the shapes of our little seats. Okay. And they don't all have to be. This one on the far right is a little bit less blue looking. So I'm going to let it sit with just a wee bit on it. But over here, that also settles your head when you know that you've got a little bit of, continuity from the top to the bottom. So clean your brush now. And we're going to go for the darkest greens. So what I like to tell people to do is if you close even one eye or if you squint your eyes, you will see automatically that some things push back, which are the darker colors, and the lighter colors will come forward. But when you squint your eyes, the dark will stand out. So when we squint our eyes here, you will see there is dark, 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 and dark colors. So let's clean our brush really well. No need to get lots of brushes. So let's mix the green. So we're going to mix a standard green, just blue, clean your brush. Then equal amount of yellow. My yellow really is drying up. Doesn't matter if it's not completely equal. So that's our first green. All I ask is that you roll the paint off and you mix it so it's a proper green, all one shade. Okay? Then we're going to take some yellow. We're going to mix it into one color, one side of it, sorry. And that's going to be another shade of green. And if I was painting on my own, I would just slap it on as I see it, like I would go. But I'm learning to take my time for you because I know that sometimes I talk very fast too. Then we're going to take the blue and we're going to go to one side. So this is the tertiary color wheel. If we were to teach the color wheel, we started with our red, blue, and yellow. And then you often mix green and purple and orange. Then after that, you have green, blue, green, yellow, green, and you basically just multiply the colors up. So we would have 3 shades of green. This would be our secondary color wheel. Then this becomes tertiary when you have 3 versions of it. So we're not really going to use, well, we probably will actually. So now we've got that. For the really dark color, I want us to mix a really dark green. So we're going to come back to those. So take some blue and some yellow and mix them together. And then add some red. Okay, and keep mixing until you get a version of brown. You'll see a browny color. Then you're going to take a little bit of black. And you can always add more black to it. And just gradually add the black in there and some blue. So we get this really dark, greeny, browny color. That's going to be our dark shade that we see here. So let's start up behind the bench. So we're going to come up above it. Doesn't need to be absolutely perfect, but I can see that in there is a shape that's nice and dark. Then along underneath where this chair is, it signifies the bottom of the bushes here. Then there's little bits of that. So we're going to dot it. I've just got, I have paint on my brush and I'm just dotting it in. Then we're going to come over. So we're on this same line. There are still little areas coming up underneath, in underneath the bench, in underneath here. Then we're going across and in underneath this other seat. So look at the shape. The shape is just like a little square underneath. So the leg will come on one side. And then this is also going to signify the bottom of the bushes here. And there you can see a lovely light green over there. So you just build out. It's like everything is just layering. Running out of paint here. So just pick a little area. Same with up here. Dab in. Now, I'm going to mix a little bit more. So just to go over that color again, we have blue and yellow. I'm going to mix it in it. And a little bit of red, a little bit of black. And then back to our blue. So we're getting that really deep color. If you don't mix exactly the same color, do not worry. Part of the beauty of it. So just back over here where it's really dark. Then I'm going to add in a little bit. There's a few little branches because that will take a little bit of this worry out of it for you as well. So not all of them are really dark, but just plant them in there. Little shapes. Close your eyes a little bit again so it stands out. Same with here. You can start to build out the shape of the tree. Over here. And then there's little lines. That nice triangle there. I'm going to add some water. Remember, water on your brush. And then dabbing out a few little extra shapes before we finish on these ones at the top. They're not just as dark up there, but it all adds to the 3D element of it. Let's use this while we have it. So I'm going to actually take some water on your brush. I'm going to line underneath where we have that bench, and then there's actually a little table. Same with over here. I'm going to the shape of the seat. It's that seat that we will all recognize no matter where you are in the world, that lovely plastic little seat, the little garden chair. Same with over here. And then the legs of that. So even though we're not putting in lots of grass in the front, what is in the sky is reflected in the ground. So take some water on your brush. Don't lose hope. Stay with me. We just build it out. That's all we do. And we're going to then add in along the bottom, just as if this is a little shadow on it. So keep your nice water on your brush and dip dab a little bit that you can see those little shadows. They don't need to be perfect. They'll all make sense in the end. And then lastly, before we give it up, let's put in a few of the little slats of the chair. Little random ones, so they're not just really block color. Okay, that's our first one. Now let's go back to our greens. So we come forward and we're going to revisit this blue-green. I'm going to add a little bit more yellow to it. And I'm going to let there be some brown still on my brush, maybe bring a little bit of it into it so it keeps the harmony where all the colors have a fluidity between each one. Now we go again. This time we're going to go to pick an area. So this greeny tone that I have here, you can match it up to where it is. So really it's very dark heavy over here. So that's what we'll do for now. Let's build out here. So I'm going to dip dab in. It's lovely, automatically starts to build out. So this, you'll be able to tell me that I don't know the names of any of these trees. So forgive me. I'm literally a painter, not a gardener. So this bush here is from the flagstones up. So we're going from the flagstones up. So we are going to dip dab that in. Just on the brush, on its side. And it comes just to the right side of the, well, as in the right, if you were sitting there, it would be beside you. Okay? And a little dip dab above. Now, leave that. Water on your brush. Take the same green. And then just over here, up to the right where that big area is there, there's a similar cluster of color. Now it needs to be a bit darker, so take some red and some blue and some yellow to keep mixing back in, and then bring your black, but you just don't want it to be as dark. All right, and we're going to then, you can have a lot of paint in your brush here if you want, but we're going to build it out so it comes up. And we're just building on what is there, little cluster. Okay, then we're going to leave that one and we're going to come up to the top here. So this has a lot of the dark, bringing it up. So there's just a different section here, but we're going to do this section up at the top. So I'm turning my brush on its side, and this is where it gets really nice. So look how you interrupt the blue with the green, and you automatically start to just get, it's a tree. It makes sense now. So we can, everything, this is the building the foundation of it. So some of it's dark, some of it's light, but we're putting the dark down first. And use all your paint to do that. Then we've got this little gap here. And just lastly, bring yourself over to the right-hand side and let there be a little foundation of green over there and coming down here as well. Oh, and then up top, up top. So why don't you add in a few wee dabs? Wee dabs. Okay, so it changes the texture. Same here, even if there's no water on your brush. Okay, we're getting there. Clean your brush again, all just about layers and trial and error. It doesn't matter if it doesn't work the first time. It does not matter. You're in the right place. That's why I show you my other wacky abstract ones. I'm worried, not always because I'm new to it all, but I'm worried when you show that side that people are going to run a mile. But that's the reason that I can do stuff like this, is because I believe in the whole process of art, not in these little type paintings, but these little type paintings are so dreamy and calm. They feel very calm to me. So look at your subject, come back in. This is us using this middle of the road green, and start to just see where it should be a bit brighter. Now I'm going to make it a little bit brighter than that so that there's more of a difference. There will be a difference anyway, but I want it to be a little bit more of a difference. So dabbing on where we see this nice brighter green, same here. And don't be afraid to see little chunks and just to add little chunks on rather than it all being dip, dip, dab. If there's a big area that has green, let there be that big area of green. Plant it on. Plant it on. So there's a little bit underneath here that is a little bit of water in your brush. Same with up in here. There's lovely bright green in behind. And then fill in the little gaps in and around it. Here as well. This lovely red tree is nice. That'll be fun to do. Okay, now we're going to go. So now what we do is just build all the lighter colors. So this is our really light lime green now we have. I need to get some more yellow. Oh, there we go. So our lime green, there's real lime over here. So I'm going to start in there and then over here. Just look at the blocks of color. So over here, there's that big block of color that comes right down. I'm going to bring this down onto the grass as well. So we're going to fill in the grass in and around that nice shaded. Nice, that'll be fun to do. Okay, now we're going to go. So now what we do is just build all the lighter colors. So this is where we make it really bright yellow, a really bright lime green yellow color. So we have it ready to go. And I'm going to just go straight in here. We make it really bright yellow, a really bright lime green yellow color. So we have it ready to go. And I'm going to just go straight in here and plant in a good bit of color because we can always add in, and then over to this side of the bush there where the light is hitting that, and then let little bits, turn your brush on its side, let it fold in. Same here, look, this is where you start to get your nice bit of depth by adding in little areas that have little clusters of lighter colors on it. Even down here, there's a little area. This is more mint green. So I'm going to take this down and add the really bright lime yellow, which is mostly yellow with a little bit of blue. I'm going to add it to here. And then over here, there's the really lime green bushes. Bush there. And you see here, we just dip dab, change the texture, even you can hear the sound. And you just, rather than be overwhelmed by it, you're like, right, I just need to get through this and enjoy it. And when you change the texture, you change how the whole thing feels. So same here, I'm not worried if some color picks up from the others because it's also busy and not very uniform, but I'm just filling in a few of the dots so that we're not here all day because I don't think you have all day. So dip dab at the top. Then bring in some of that dark, so you can revisit any of your greens now to add in a little bit more depth here. Pick a little area and just finish it. So here we have this area, and I'm going to bring back that brown color that we had. So it was the blue, yellow, red, and a little bit of black. So it's a more purpley, slightly more purpley, a bit more yellow into it. Doesn't matter if it varies slightly, but it's for over here. And I am going to just fill in the shape. So you just just zone into one area. There we go. And then up above it again. And then I'm following it along. So you take out the overwhelm of your lovely brain having to take it all in. Then we're just going back in with some dark areas. Then coming right up to the top where we actually have quite a few little clusters, and we already have the light version there. So you're just thinking about the light coming at the top and it's dark underneath. So by the time you get to the top of this tree, there's only little flecks of dark, and we can bring the blue back in there as well. I'm going to use this brownie tone to just water on my brush. This is a big brush, so we just want to imply that it's there, nice and light, nice and whimsical. If it goes a bit thicker, it's okay. Nobody's going to shout at you. That's what I always tell the kids. I'm like, this is your time to relax. So there we go. Excuse me. Then over to this side and bringing this brown back in again. So we're going to go from the top down. So looking to see where these little clusters of dark are. And then there's tiny little branches. So just letting my brush take over a little bit there. If you really struggle with this, do get a little tiny brush. If you're just like, I can't, Ali, this is too much. And then down in here, I'm just going to fill in a few areas of it being a little darker. And then underneath, again, we have those beautiful. And the lovely thing is there's nice pink buds on there too. So think about the tree coming down. Where is the branch? Where are the branches? Where does it come down to? Doesn't matter if you even put that in so you can rest your mind a little bit that it makes sense, if you know what I mean. So then you can see it comes down there, goes the whole way up there. And then over here, add a little bit more of the dark. Now we're going to come to here. We're going to make like a minty green. So, and you like that I just cleaned mine on my top. Look at these beautiful colors you've made. Amazing. So mix the green again, blue and yellow. So you've mixed a nice green, roll it off your brush, now add some white. So you get this nice minty green color. And I've got quite a lot on there, but look here on the left-hand side. Well, our left-hand side as we look at it. So now I'm going to let that go on and just keep looking at it, blot everything else around. It could actually be much brighter. So I'm going to make an even brighter version of it. Add a wee bit of yellow. Okay. And then there, because it's really just about the eye. What does the eye pick up on? So bring that white as well up here, just a few little bits, nice and delicate. Look, I'm just rolling the brush over, nice and delicate. Over this side, do we have any of this bright white? We do. So in here, where it's dark, this is where we start to get the green too. And then over here, and then just little bits coming down. Remember this, is it like it's like a palm tree. It's a bit like a palm tree. You can't really see it maybe there, but let me move this in for you. You can stop and start this as much as you want. So this comes here, 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 and let it be. Let it be. Let it be. Just let it be. Let it be nice and wispy coming out. Now, see this gray tone of a green here? We're going to revisit the dark one again. Roll it off your brush. Bring a little bit of your brown into it gradually. And then with that, I'm going to also come down here. So we know that it's lighter down here, these little tones, but it's not as bright as up at the top. Okay. And you can fill those in again up here if you want. So that darker tone, bring it over here where we are, just over at the side of coming down the sides of the chairs and in behind this one here. Same with over here. Just dull down that real lime green and then in here as well. So kind of running out of this color. That's okay. I'm going to dip dab in. Beautiful. And then up at the top, one or two little bits just to change that, the feel of it all, really. Okay. How are you feeling? You feeling okay? Good. Good, because it is a lot, but you guys wanted it, and I want this to be an exciting time for you to really get to know the paint whenever we're doing something like this. So there's a lovely purple flower in here, but let's do this nice red. Pardon me. So we're going to take some red onto our plate. I'm going to take a little bit of blue into it, and we're going to mix that. Now, I actually quite like that already. So that's a little bit of blue into it, and it's a real flame red. I am sure all of you could tell me what this is called. I do not know. But we're just dabbing in where it's the brightest. So leave that. Then take some yellow into it. Change it so it's a little bit more orangey. So some yellow. And roll it off and then revisit. So you're just changing it again. Little bits that lift up by the light. Same with over here, very subtle change. Now some white into that peachy red. I think I'm going to bring a little bit more yellow into it. I need more yellow. There we are. And we go again. Very fine, fine, fine. There's a lot of paint on my brush, but let that be the light in the little dark areas. Doesn't matter if it's not exact. Okay, now roll your brush on a different area. Give it a good clean. And now take some white into that. Then take some yellow into it. Some yellow makes it a bit more peachy tone. Bring the red in if it's too much. We want it to be nice, peachy and warm because it's quite warm in there. And then again, just filling in the little dots, adding beautiful depth. And then there's lovely flowers on a bench. Like I haven't even seen those yet. So they have nice peachy colors there on the little table. So I'm dabbing those down and then look to see are there any other areas which are nice and peachy. Under here, there's a wee bit of peach. And then on some of these leaves, over to here. Okay, and now we're going to use that same peach. Clean your brush. At the very top, it's hard to see, but there's really, really light flowers. So I'm going to take water into that and make that nice peachy tone really, really light. And we're going to dip dab some of those in as well. So just dotting a few of them about. In the center, on the top, around. Really adds a lovely richness to it. Then we're going to come down here to this little pot of flowers as well. Then as well, we want to be in here. Look, some of this is really bright. So load your brush up, turn it on its side, and let there be a really bright light element to that. Okay, stay with me. This is our peachy color. We're going to add some black to it now. Okay, some water in your brush, a little bit of black, pull it all together so it has a warm gray tone. So that was our peach, which was just, if you were going to make peach again, it's just blue, red and yellow, and then light white on it. So we're mixing this tone for the bottom, which is our tiles. So I'm going to plant that straight on. Then we have our rug. So we're coming along where the grass is. This is the darker shade of it. And I'm filling in and around where the chairs are. And then there's still some behind. So underneath here, fill in the dots. There we go. Now clean your brush again, and we're going to take a lighter version of that. So lighter, pulling the paint out. It's always easier to do that. And then this is our lighter version of it, which stands out quite nicely, actually, really bright. So we're going to put in here just little areas. I'm just looking to see dip dab where it's nice and bright, implying that the shadows and the sun is filtering through. Gorgeous, looking great. Now, start to think about where the really bright light, while we have this nice bright on us as well, is there anything here that we could touch with a little bit of this? So we add, this is more a gray, lighty tone, but just so we add a few little areas of light in. So I'm going to dip dab in around here a little bit, just because I like to do that. And it feels like it's just not as overwhelming. There we go. Oops, picked up a little bit of that. Okay. Clean your brush again. Now, I think this is looking good. To keep looking at our subject matter, we really need to go a bit darker over here again. So clean your brush well, and we're going to revisit the brown that we had. So we have brown, we have our blue, yellow, red, then some black. And that's going to be over behind this chair. So I'm going to make this a little darker here. And that's the easier thing. It's easier to go back in with the dark than it is to try and take over the dark. So now, in and around, we can come back in and fill in the dark where the red is. You can don't go straight for your black, but if you want to have black with some red and blue in it, it'll just make it so that it's not too dominant and overtake everything. But you need to have a little bit of the dark in amongst here. So go back in and any bits that are standing out, fill them in with your dark. So here especially, Keep adding your black, but mix it in. I like to mix it so it's softer, okay? If you really want to use black, like I'm not going to shout at you, but I just like it to be a bit softer than that. Even here in the red, we're underlying it with a little bit of depth. Over here, and I'm going to just add in a few wee clusters again. So find a little area. There's a little branch there, and then on the side of it, it's quite dark. So that's a little shape. Then same down here, there's a little cluster here, and that's a little shape. Same with over here. Just build it out. Build it out. And then down here. Now let's use this dark color to really shape where we're meant to have this. So water on your brush, where we're going to put our bench and our seat. So just start to look at shapes now. So dark and light. So that's the shape of the chair. There, I think. Because I'm at a bit of an angle, I've got to be careful here. So I'm going to turn it slightly to me. Oopsie, just dirtied it. Don't worry. Yep, my bench is a wee bit wonky. So I'm going to fill out the shape of the bench using this dark tone. And then I'm going to fill out the shape of the seat. And then underneath. It doesn't really matter. I don't want this to be a complete picture perfect. Like this is art. This is my moment in time. That's what I want for you to see as well. And this is our lovely capture of this beautiful garden, which I think we've done a really good job of. And here, I'm going to just fill in a few extra bits on the seat. There we go. Okay. And then this little table as well, I'm going to fill out where it would be. So clean your brush, starting to look really pretty and rich, gorgeous. Clean your brush again. Now we're going to do the little blue mat, and we're also going to bring some blue back in up here. So you can revisit where you were, which was your blue with a teeny bit of yellow in it. And then your white. So white. I'm running out of white. Here's my white. Okay, let's use it first to fill in our areas up at the top, because that will make you feel better about like the sky coming in through the trees. So load up the color. So you have a lot of water in your brush, not too much water. And now fill in these little details here. So here we go. There's a little bit of sky coming through all these areas coming down here. And that really changes how the light comes through. Same within here, believe it or not, there's some blue over at the side. And then we have over here, that's our blue. So come back down and we're going to do our little blue rug. We're going to change the color of it though. I'm going to make it so it's blue with white and with no. So it's going to be not massively different, but I want it to be a slightly different shade than the sky. And then we're not going to do the pattern on it. Well, we might be able to, but it's more that we're going to be dark on this side and then make a lighter version of it for over this where the light hits it. And then just line out the shape that it is. So what is the shape of it? It's coming out this way. There's our lovely little rug. There we go. If you want to do the shape, if you want to do the shapes on it, why not? There's little hexagon shapes. So make sure you've got loaded up, and then we want to do our little shapes. You're just implying that they're there. Can you see that? Hopefully. Hopefully. You can make some a bit lighter as well. So I'll make ones a bit lighter. That is what it is. Okay. Now this is where it can get tricky with this brush. So clean your brush again. Get yourself a nice area that's nice and clean. Clean it really well. Get some white. We're just going to finish off. We are going to finish. Put some white paint on my good island. Not ideal. So we have white paint and we're looking to see here a gray color we're going to do for the bench. All right, so you want to have it so that you've got this nice gray tone. And then just follow the shape of it. Let's not have it all one block color. Let the blue be that's there, but start to build out the shape. You can turn your brush on its side if it's easier. This is the one here that I haven't really built out yet. So here, and then this was the little shape. I think that was there. Now, while I'm here, in case I forget, I'm gonna go back to my dark color and build that out again, which is underneath it. Just building the back legs in of the seats. Okay, but still with this gray color, I'm going to go on the right-hand side of my bench. I'm going to mix it so that I'm going to just work on the bench. Work on the bench. A nice shape at each side of it. Nice ornate. And then bringing it down. There we go. To me, that's enough, but I'm going to fill in just the wee bits in the center and going over there where it doesn't matter if you go over a little bit of it. It looks more authentic than it being too overplayed, in my opinion. All right, and here. So clean your brush again. Take your black paint, if you have any left, with a little bit of the gray tones of it. And then fill out your little lines. So there's the little lines in the back of the seats, just one or two. You don't need to put them all in. And the same with here, you can imply one or two. And I'm going to build out the table that this nice vase is sitting on. And I'm just going to put a little shadow underneath the rug. Okay, to me, that's pretty much done. But because we're in the dark color at the minute, have a little look and see, like, this is so wonky. So let me just fix my bench, because even though it's lovely, it's very lopsided. There we go. I'm going to bring my gray white back in and do the side, and then I'm going to do the top of the table. And that's us. Before I get rid of my greens, there's a little bit of green there's green in the vase. So don't forget about that. Here's your green in the vase. And if you need to do anything more, I think that looks great. That is our very beautiful, busy, what you could do. Oops, of course, always something more I can be doing. This is the thing about it. There's always something to add, but just as long as it looks fresh, to me, that's very important. So I'm just taking some more yellow to mix a nice bright again, and I'm going to dab in with that. So I'm just going to make sure. So this is me using the really bright yellow, a little bit of blue in it, but that's going to be my real highlighter here and along the front so that there's a wee bit of a lift. Feels really strong in some areas. Okay. I forgot about little guys up here too in these trees. But there you go. That's a good start. Nice, strong. Well done. Good job. That is your pretty little garden seat. There we go. Well done. Please subscribe for more. We've got lots to do, lots of landscapes, but that hopefully is your good introduction to you to see how you can simplify your gardens and your greens. We could keep building on that, but for now, I'm going to let it be. And thank you so much for watching.